Thank you so much for starting off your Wednesday with us. It's 6 a.m. I'm Eric Connors.
And I'm Neda Iranpour. We do want to start with your forecast. Oh, the cool down might actually be a little chilly soon.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine with me after the week we had.
Very comfortable overnight. 60s right now out there, some upper 50s, back to normal.
Refreshing,
really.
yeah.
And the afternoon highs are going to look almost identical. It is wild to think that just 2 days ago, about 48 hours ago, our afternoon highs were in the 90s along the coastline and the triple digits inland. That is not even close to the case for this afternoon. The 90s have been switched for the 70s at the coast, and the triple digits have been replaced with 80s along our inland valleys. We're going to be hard-pressed to find some of those low 80s across our western valleys. 81 degrees is that average across the valley floors, our inland locations. 79 for the mountains, 102 out there for the deserts. Coming up, we'll talk about what to expect for the rest of the week.
Thank you very much for that. And right now, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are both at the 9/11 memorial in New York. In fact, they shook hands moments ago.
Yeah, we carried that moment live on our air. This comes just hours after their highly anticipated debate where they actually met for the first time ever. CBS's Jared Hill has the highlights.
Let's have a good debate. A handshake kicked off the first meeting between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. But the 90-minute debate soon turned into a sparring match over issues like the economy.
I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy.
I had no inflation, virtually no inflation. They had the highest inflation.
Abortion.
For years, they wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government. And we did something that everybody said couldn't be done.
The government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body.
And immigration.
They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in.
What we have in the former president is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
The former president even spreading misinformation about migrants in Ohio.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats.
He also repeatedly worked to link Harris to President Joe Biden, who dropped out of the race in July.
She is Biden. You know, she's trying to get away from Biden.
I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country.
Both candidates continued to make their case after the debate. Vice President Harris greeting supporters at an event here in Philadelphia, while former President Trump claimed victory in the spin room with reporters.
This was my best debate. I thought it was very good.
This is very much two different visions for our country.
Both campaigns taking a pause today to mark 23 years since the September 11th attacks are back in the swing states tomorrow. Jared Hill, CBS News, Philadelphia.
And now, minutes after the debate, the Harris Waltz ticket got a major celebrity endorsement from this woman right here, Taylor Swift. She posted on social media, quote, "I believe we can accomplish so much more in this country if we are led by calm and not chaos." She signed the post, Taylor Swift, childless cat lady.
This morning, we are hearing from San Diegans about the debate. Democrats and Republicans packed dueling watch parties last night.
You've seen Kamala Harris, who is offering the country hope, who is offering our middle class hope, and you're seeing Donald Trump, who is, his failed policies are offering the American dream hopeless.
A lot of people doubted him. They said he was going to go off script, that he wasn't going to be able to control himself, and he is being very presidential tonight, and I am super impressed.
We will have reaction from our political analysts in a few minutes, and later this hour, we'll verify claims made by Harris and Trump at the debate.
Today, the County Board of Supervisors will consider putting a pause on these lithium battery storage facilities.
This following a fire in Escondido last week that prompted evacuation orders. CBS 8's Regina Yarita live downtown, where supervisors will be meeting on this today. Here, Regina.
Yeah, that's correct. Good morning, guys. This topic is actually regaining attention once again, really because of the fire that broke out in Escondido last Thursday. Now, the county has dealt with these types of fires at a lithium battery storage facility, but now the county is once again reintroduced to some of the concerns that can happen. So today, the County Board of Supervisors will consider putting a pause on future lithium battery storage facilities. The item was already scheduled for the board, but had gained more urgency following the fire that broke out last Thursday. Escondido Fire Department says only one of the site's 24 cells caught fire. Crews at that point needed the fire to burn itself out. No injuries were reported, but evacuations were issued to nearby businesses. Schools that were 5 minutes away from the facility canceled classes. So today they will have the discussion of possibly putting a temporary moratorium on the acceptance of a new battery storage facility application, or whether to adopt an urgency ordinance requiring new facilities to use modular designs and follow National Fire Protection Association guidelines. The battery storage facilities are a component of the county's response to green energy. Without a certain percentage of these facilities, the county could have a difficult time meeting its climate goals. So back out here, we know that discussion is supposed to take place today. As soon as we hear more details about this topic, of course, we'll bring you more. But for now, I'm outside of the county admin building. Regina Urita, CBS 8.
Today marks 23 years since the September 11th terrorist attacks. Nearly 3,000 people lost their lives.
And right now you're taking a look, this is a live look at a ceremony that's being held at the 9/11 Memorial. This is in New York City, of course, where victims' names are being read aloud at this very moment.
And ceremonies will be held across San Diego today to honor the lives lost on this tragic day.
CBS 8's Chris Groh joining us live in Coronado now, where one of those ceremonies will get underway soon. Chris?
And it'll be taking place at 6:45 this morning, remembering the lives lost on that day 23 years ago. And I want to bring in Pastor Mickey Stonier here to talk a little bit about how events like this keep the memory of 9/11 and the lives lost moving forward. 441 first responders lost their lives that day, next to the thousands of everyday Americans. When you think back to that day, as someone who went to New York, went towards what happened and unfolded that day, what do you think is the importance of remembrance events like the ones that are happening today?
Yes, I mean, it's been 23 years, and we have a whole generation of young people that don't have this as a memory. It's just in the history books for them. And by having these ceremonies for families, parents, families to get together and explain the history and the reality. You know, 23 years ago, America came together. We need to see that happen again, but hopefully we don't need tragedy to bring us together. So telling the story can unite us as a people, that we love one another, care for one another.
It was, again, this sort of semblance of again, patriotism, people coming together, people caring for one another. You mentioned the need for that moving forward. How does an event like this sort of help transpire that or inspire that?
Well, first responders are every day, 365 days a year, serving the public. They work holidays. They spend a lot of time, they work 48-hour shifts here in Coronado, and they're away from their family. They sacrifice a lot for us to be safe, to be healthy, to have our freedom. And so it's not only just 9/11, but they respond to personal 9/11 events every day. And so I would encourage our entire city, county, say thank you to your first responders for what they do.
Okay. Well, Pastor Stonier, thank you so much for joining us this morning here to give us a little insight. And again, not just here in Coronado, but events across the county, memorializing those lives lost and keeping that in our memory as we move forward here. 23 years now since 9/11. Eric Annetta.
We will never forget that, is for sure. Thank you for that, Chris. And this just in here, inflation has slowed to the lowest rate since 2021. Consumer prices were up 2.5% annually in August. That's down from 2.9% in July. This comes as the Federal Reserve prepares to cut interest rates next week after trying to tame inflation.
It is now 6:10 here, and word of this cool down has me thinking, where are my sweaters? I mean, is it going to be that cool?
I mean, next week it is going to cool down even more. Today,
wow, what a
through the
change.
weekend, we're right around average. But then going into early next week, we're going to be below average.
Below average.
Below
oh, my
average
goodness.
temperatures.
Okay.
Yes, it is a notable change in the forecast. For the morning hours, sure, throw on the sweater by all means. There are some spots like up in Fallbrook where we earlier, about a hour ago, we're in the upper 50s. Now it's 61 in Fallbrook, 64 right now in Escondido, and 67 in El Cajon and Poway. These temperatures are a notable departure from the 70s and 80s that we ran into about 48 hours ago. When we look at your satellite radar imagery, we're also seeing the return of something we haven't had in quite a while, and that is a dense marine layer. The ridge of high pressure that was overhead over the last several days did not allow any of those clouds to make their way onshore. In turn, we were warming up day over day. We had 3 days straight of 90s out there along our coastline, and now that marine layer, that layer of clouds, is going to help to moderate our temperatures along the coast and inland. So for the next several hours, if you notice the overcast skies above, I know the gray is back and not a lot of people are fans of the gray, but those clouds do help to keep our temperatures a lot more mild close to the coastline for the morning stretch. We're switching one issue for another. Instead of any heat-related alerts, we now have an air quality alert in play, and that's because of wildfire smoke in our area. So across our county, we're mostly in the moderate range. We're moving toward unhealthy for sensitive groups, meaning people with asthma. If you are part of any of those groups, you should limit the time that you're spending outside. There are some spots just north of Palm Springs where it is unhealthy for all. Those are those areas in red on the screen here. Over the next 5 days, hey, there's no major changes on the way. We're enjoying these more mild, comfortable conditions out there. Widespread 70s along the coast, 80s inland, and no changes in sight. By the time we get to Sunday and beyond, we're going to be cooling down even more. We'll take a look at that coming up in our 7-day forecast. Let's check in on traffic. Right now, things are looking pretty good on the roads. We are still seeing some slightly slower speeds on the Coronado Bridge. That's unsurprising. It's a 6 o'clock hour, of course. So you've got speeds on the Coronado Bridge from downtown to Coronado down to 34 miles per hour. Still only going to take you 4 minutes to get across. Looking good on the 163 and on the 8 westbound. Back to you.